Hi everyone, welcome to the next video from this page from Tiny Year by Agotapop. If you want to grab this book, the links are in the description, or you can just buy the downloads just for March on Agata's Etsy shop. Again, link in description. So here is our fourth picture, which is a very cute looking bee, and there we go. Again, it's sunny and I've got my blind shut, so I hope it's quite easy enough to see. Now when I do a bee, I usually do its head black or grey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the body first, but I'm going to start with this stripe here, which I'm going to do yellow, then I'm going to do black stripe, yellow stripe, black stripe, yellow stripe, like that, and then we'll do some of the other, and then we'll do the flowers last. So my Schpirerr Farben pencils, what I'm going to do with the stripe, because we've got quite a big area we can change the colour through, so I'm going to do a darker edge and then a lighter centre. I'm just having a little look at what I'm thinking of doing. I think I'm going to go from sort of bronzy brown to yellow. So I might actually start with the burnt sienna. You could use an orange, but I think the brown looks a little better from a personal point of view, but obviously everyone likes different things. I'm just sharpening. So here is the burnt sienna. Now you might think this is going to be a little bit dark. It's quite dark. I'm only going to use a little bit right on the edge here. Now bearing in mind that we have these zigzags on our bee showing that it is furry, so what I'm doing is I'm colouring in zigzag in lines, can you see, and I'm putting more on the ends and a few less as we go in, so we're keeping that sort of zigzag look. This one is this way and trying to make it look furry. When we do our next colour we'll do the same thing, hopefully it'll work. There we go. Now we've got a section here. I'm thinking an imaginary line here. So this next section here is our darker section, and then here we've got another one of this colour. I think it'll make it more even looking if we do it that way. So I was listening to this fascinating podcast the other day. It was quite short, which was nice. It was, what are they called? The Wellness Scoop, it's called. And Ella Mills and a nutritionist, can't think of her name. Anyway, they were talking about happiness, which fascinated me. I had no idea people had written books on happiness and how to be happy, which was a great surprise. And they'd spoken to this person called Dr. David Hamilton, and he's Scottish, very strong Scottish accent, which I love. So that was good. And he was talking about, he's just brought out a book about happiness. It's got a swear word in the title, so I can't even remember what it was. But anyway, the title. But what he talks about is that he says that he feels, here's our maple, we're just going to carry on doing the same thing, the little lines. I just realised I've got a pen or something on my finger. It must be pencil because I haven't used a pen today. He said he feels that kindness is the opposite of stress. And he says he realises that sounds very old, and he explains it in the podcast that when you're kind to someone, it releases a certain amount of hormones into the body, and when you're stressed it also releases hormones into the body, but these are sort of opposite hormones. So when you're stressed you have your stress hormone, what they call cortisol, the stress hormone, and you also have your adrenaline and things like that, all the ones that make you feel a little bit, I mean they're great in the short term, they give you a burst of energy and that sort of thing that you might need, but if you're sitting at your desk and you're getting them, or worrying about something at home, they can cause you to feel jittery and agitated. and uncomfortable, and they might cause your heart to race and things like that, which isn't at all useful when you're just sitting down. But he says that the I'm gonna pick the golden yellow, that when you're kind to someone, it does the opposite for you. Not, it might do it for them as well, but for you. So the act of being kind to somebody is actually you can see it as a very selfish act. Golden yellow, in the best possible way, in the sense that you are doing yourself and your body good when you're being kind to somebody else, which I found absolutely phenomenally interesting, I have to say. Now, he's written a whole book on it. I don't know what else there is to say on it, really. I guess he talks about the science behind it. Oh, he did talk about an experiment, so maybe there's more of that in the book. Now, this experiment, which was quite fascinating, was that there were two groups of people, and they gave both groups of people a gift of money every day, a certain amount. He didn't say how much it was. And one group, they split them in half, and half of them were told to spend it on themselves, and the other half were told to spend it in a way that does good for somebody else. Okay, so I guess you might buy a gift for somebody, or donate it to a charity, or I'm sure there are all sorts of different things that you could think of. I think it would be quite fun to think of all the different ways you could do that. But anyway, and when they finished the experiment, I don't know how long it lasted, I can't remember, he did say, but I can't remember. Then when they finished the experiment, they took they took information from them. So they took their blood pressure and things like that, and they found that their blood pressure in the group that had to do something good, their blood pressure came down, sorry my nose is running in, as much as it would potentially come down if they'd been given blood pressure medication, which I thought was quite phenomenal. And I thought how very easy it is to be kind to people as well. This is black, we can all do it. So even if you live alone, even if you don't go out, you can still, I know you've got access to the internet, and you've got some sort of device because you're watching this video. So just by leaving a like for something, or a positive comment, you know, on a nice picture you've seen on Instagram, or, you know, if you're in a colouring group, just spending a few minutes just sort of praising some of the pictures that you've seen on there, you know, that could do you the world of good. It is absolutely fascinating. Now, wings. Are we going to make these wings see-through? Because if we do, we need to draw the bee in. No, it's a little bit, it's not hugely complicated, because it would just be like the edge of the bee here with its zigzag, and here, but we've got this leg, that's why I'm a bit, and this leg, and that's why I'm a little bit. No, we won't, we'll leave it, we'll do it so that it's not transparent. So I'm putting a bit of black, not too much on this one, because mainly under the wing, put a bit more on this one. So I thought that was quite fascinating, that you can, you know, you could do the smallest thing. And I also, you know, even if people in your household, you know, give someone a little hug, make them a cup of tea, you know, help them with something they're doing, anything, you know, it's so easy. And so that was very interesting. I think I probably will get his book. It sounds right up my street, really. I don't know if it's out yet. I think it is. I saw something, I was looking at his Instagram and it said it wasn't out, but I think it was an older post. I think it is out now. I can't decide whether to do the legs in black. I think I'm going to not yet, and I might change my mind. We're going to use the cool grey next to do some of our fluffy bits, and also this part of the face. So I might decide to use this for the legs as well. Here we go, cool grey. But, you know, I thought that's really good, really interesting. I was also found out something quite interesting about menopause as well, saying that in menopause women always gain tummy fat. It's a thing. And I thought, you know what, that is fascinating, because I know I did. I have. And a friend of mine did as well, because I remember her telling me, when I read this, it reminded me that she's 10 years older than me, so she's gone through it before I did. And I remember she was working at this sort of gym type, ladies gym type place, and she'd started getting a bit of a belly, and she said her daughter kept wanting her to make chips all the time because she really liked them. So I'm not really explaining what I'm doing. I'm going to go quite pale to the middle like that. And so she sort of put it down to that, but now I'm thinking maybe it wasn't that at all. Maybe, you know, and the fact that she was working in the gym, so she actually got a free workout. She used to do a free workout every day as part of her sort of perk of the job sort of thing. So there's no reason why she should have been, you know, finding that her tummy was getting bigger. I'm going to use the seal grey next, but she did. And apparently it's all to do with the hormones. Apparently, because our hormones are lacking, our body tries to take similar hormones from our fat stores. This is seal grey, and so it sort of almost encourages the body to put down those fat stores to help with the hormones. I'm sure that since I've started taking HRT, I've put on a bit of weight though, so I'd have thought that it would have taken it off. But maybe there's a different side effect working there. But anyway, I'm feeling very much better on it. So, and because so it's all good. I'm not worried about that side of things. But it's just interesting about the tummy thing, because it's not necessarily always about weight gain as to where it's appearing. And so I think it's just a way of saying to women, don't worry about it, because it's just a natural process and it will go away. You know, but I have found that since I've been walking more, my clothes fit better on my tummy, and my weight hasn't changed. That isn't why I'm doing it. It's not something for me, but so obviously it's a muscular thing. I'm thinking it must be that my core is getting smaller, which is brilliant, you know. And I'm really pleased about that. And again, it's not about how I look. I don't really worry too much about that. It's just about the fact that I know that that is healthier, because that is not a place that you're supposed to be carrying too much fat, unfortunately. And then we find out that as women, that's what's going to happen to us. No. But it's a temporary thing. So hopefully it's okay. I had an invitation for my first mammogram today. Apparently between when you turn 50 you get put on a list, and then when it's your surgery's turn to come into the rota you get invited. So I have been invited to make an appointment, so I shall be doing that. It's because it's Saturday. I'm not going to ring because I can't imagine I'll be there. So I shall ring up on Monday and sort that out. So that'll be good to have that checked. My sister, who's my identical twin, had hers a couple of years ago. This is yellow, but she lives in a completely different area to me. But hers was all good and fine. My mum did say, oh, it's so painful, but my sister didn't. She said it was fine. So I'm not worried about that anyway. It's worth it, isn't it? I think goodness there are other things that are not nice that we have to do as women, like the rose, the sort of smear tests and things. So I think this will be fine compared to that. I'm going to try and fade towards the edge. So as I say, I'm not worried about it. It'd be nice to have it looked at though, having never had one. Although I have had an ultrasound there due to having a cyst, which was removed and was perfectly fine. So that's all good, all good. So now I'm trying to think while I'm doing this what other colours to do the flowers. I've done pink flowers on every, I guess we didn't on the other one. I'm feeling like I want to do pink, violet or purple and blue. I'd like to do that. What's that colour actually? Maybe I will go with the French lavender. I'm not sure if I've used that already in this, but anyway. We're going to have to duplicate some colours because there's so much going on this page. Just heard my husband yawning. I haven't heard him shouting yet. He's watching the darts. And he can get very excited. It's the UK Open, and so there's lots of Brits playing, although there are others as well. There's a lot of Dutch, as there always is in darts, and Germans. It's Austrian, some Irish, Scottish players. I think there's one Polish player. He's yawning. He's struggling a bit without his ADHD meds at the moment. We're hoping we can get that sorted out for him soon. I didn't notice any other countries. He was watching an American darts match from America a while ago, and there were American players, but they don't seem to do the international circuit. I don't think it's such a big thing in America as it is in Europe, and therefore maybe their players don't get to the same standard because they just don't have the same amount of home contests, I'm guessing. This is cobalt blue, but in America you have so many different sports. Like we do have loads of sports, but we tend to be football, i.e. soccer, rugby, cricket, golf, snooker, darts, I would say. But people are going to come on and go, you've gotten this and you've gotten that. We like, a lot of people like athletics as well, as a spectator sport, but also with Brits competing, yeah, that's a word. Yeah, people do like gymnastics as well, swimming, diving, ice skating, those sorts of things. But football, like soccer, is the biggest, I would say. This is avocado because it's so cheap to play. Like, you can just buy a ball really cheaply and then just play in a park, you know. I mean, I guess running is cheaper, but then you need the shoes because you can't pound the pavement in just a general trainer, really. It can damage your feet. So I suppose football, because you're on the grass, you don't necessarily need a football boot. I mean, obviously, if you take it seriously, you do. Right, we are at wing stage. Now, what I've decided to do is to try and go slightly pearlescent. I don't know how well it's going to work. I'm just going to play around with it a little bit. Ooh. So I'm going to grab these two colours. We have a pale purple and a periwinkle flower. And I'm going to use these two and just going to show you what my plan is. So this is the periwinkle flower. You can start with either of them. And what I'm going to do is take each little section of wing and then fade that into the middle like that. And do it for all of them. And then we're going to do the same from the other direction with the other one and try and get a sort of pearlescent look. And then we'll do something else as well after. I've got a couple of things I could try. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll see what happens. There we go. yeah, so yeah, I was thinking of getting that happiness book, but my husband, without his ADHD meds, he gets very spendy. It's a shopping addiction, you know, and he's started buying a load of stuff, so I'm going to have to hold back a bit. I tend to do that. I have to do that a bit, you know, balance it out. So it's tricky. It's just the way it is. I'm used to it. But he was talking about spending £2,000 earlier. Me and my boys were trying to talk him out of it. But we'll see. This is Pale Purple. He was saying, oh, I'm going to be getting a bonus. My son said, well, don't you think you need to be keeping that just in case? So thank you, son. Right, there we go. So we've gotten, even if it doesn't look pearlescent, I think it looks quite pretty. Now, my next step might end up fading this off a bit anyway. This one's quite long. I didn't take that very far up, did I? Now, I always try and keep wings quite pale, but because these aren't see-through, as we established, we're going to do the bit, we need to make them look fairly dark, or else you might think, why can't you see through them? So often I would get a white pencil and run it right over the the wing, but I'm not going to do that on this one. I'm going to use a pan pastel. So, there is my box. I've got this I'm going to use, and this. No, that's not the right one, this one. So this is my white fine pearl medium. So I'm going to put a bit of this on here to make it shine. And then I'm going to put some stickles around the edge, I think. I'm just wondering though. Because I'm going to be colouring behind. I'll have a think. I might just do it anyway because I can't get the lid off the pastel. So here is the pan pastel. And I'm just going to use one of the normal cotton makeup pads that I use for my pastels. This one, it looks dirty, it isn't, it's been washed, it's just stained. So we just take a corner, I'm going to try and find a clean bit anyway. Just take a bit up onto here. Sorry, all we can see is my hand. And then just rub it over the wing area. I try and dab it quite gently. The pan pastels are quite go on quite thick. I can't see anything. I've got no idea whether that works because my blind is shut. There isn't much light. Well, I can see this one better. Depends on the angle. Now, trying to turn my head to see whether I've gone right to the edge on this one. Now, if we tip it to the light, you can see the shine. See the shine? So there's our shiny wings, but I'm going to do, I'm going to use my stickles. Just put that there. So these are diamond stickles, so it's like a glitter glue. Just going to give it a shake, and you just squirt it out this tip. And I'm just going to try to follow the actually I'm going to start over here, or else I'm going to smudge it. Just try and follow the line. Now, if you don't have the stickles, which not all of you will have, you can use a glitter pen, perfectly fine. These are just a bit thicker, which means that when you colour, so when I colour the page before this, which I haven't done yet, I'll have to colour over the top of this thick line of glue, which makes it quite tricky. But I just want to show you the effect, so I decided it was worth it. Now these are much more thick and glittery than a glitter pen, which I think is the attraction with them. Oops. And so there we go. You can probably see the sparkle in that. I'm going to do the other side. Now you do have to be really careful that you leave them to dry, because it's quite thick. You can probably see. You can imagine it takes a while to dry, and if you smudge it, it can be make quite the mess. This is my favourite Stickles. I've got a few others. I've got a black diamond, which is quite fun as well. But I think this is my favourite. Also, you need to beware that it makes the page crinkle. I don't know if you can see where the other wing is. It's beginning to crinkle, even though I've only used like a few lines. If you do a whole area, it goes really crinkly, as if you'd used like a wet medium, like a watercolour or something. There we go. So let me show you these wings. Look at that sparkle. And I can still vaguely see that pink and purple that I coloured on underneath, somewhere down there underneath all that shine and glitter. So of course, if you don't have the pearl medium, then you could go over the top of it with a white pencil. That might work, that might help you, or just blend it or something. Another thing, if you don't have the glitter, you could use a glitter pen, as I said, for the edge. If you don't have one, use a white, and it will just mute down those black lines, which might help. Or you could use a silver pen, okay, if you've got one, or grey. If you've only got regular gel pens, no, I don't think anything would work, because they don't sit on top of black. But a white pen, as I said, would work. If you've got a Posca that's maybe silver, that would work too. So there we go. There is our bee. I enjoyed that. I hope that you did too. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.